Good morning, guys. Welcome to Tungal online classes. In the last class, we have started the discussion of aldehydes, ketones, and carboxylic acids. Under that, I think we have discussed up to the nomenclature of aldehydes. We have seen the nomenclature of both common as well as IUPAC of aldehydes. In this class, we will continue with the nomenclature of ketones. Nomenclature of ketones we will discuss. Right. Here also there are two common system as well as IUPAC system. According to the common nomenclature, the common names of ketones are basically derived from the alkyl groups or allyl groups. For example, if it is a symmetrical ketone, basically how we write it as a R C double bond O. These are basically named as dialkyl. Commonly they are called as dialkyl ketones. For example, if you take CH3 double bond OCH3, this is a methyl group also, this is also methyl group. This has to be named as dimethyl ketone, we call it as. Right? Suppose if you are taking as a CH3CH2 C double bond OCH3, we call it as diethyl ketone if it is a symmetrical ketone. Suppose if it is an unsymmetrical ketone, what is mean by unsymmetrical ketone? Both the alkyl groups are different. These are we call as unsymmetrical ketones. In case of unsymmetrical ketones, their common names. In case of unsymmetrical ketones, the common names are derived by writing. You have to write both the alkyl groups in alphabetical order. Okay. Alkyl groups. You have to write them. Alkyl groups are represented according to alphabetical order. Right. For example, if you take a CH3 C double bond O, CH2 and CH, this is an unsymmetrical ketone. The common name of this unsymmetrical ketone is basically derived. This is a methyl group and this is a ethyl group. You have to write them alphabetically. Ethyl comes first, followed by methyl. So this has to be represented as ethyl methyl ketone, we say it as right? And this position of the substrate, the position of the substituent is represented by Greek letters alpha prime, and beta prime, like this. The position has been represented alpha prime and beta prime. For example, if you have a compound CH2 Br and C double bond O CH2 Br, right? What you can call it as commonly, it is basically common as, if you are considering this as alpha, this will become alpha prime. So we call it as alpha prime. What is this? Dibromo dimethyl ketone, we call it as dibromo dimethyl ketone. Alpha means the immediately next carbon that is attached to the carbonyl group. Beta means the carbon that is adjacent to the alpha carbon will be called as beta carbon. This is how the position of the substance is indicated in the common nomenclature of ketones. Right? Now, suppose if you want to take another example, you can say CH3 CHCl, right? CH2 CH2Cl. Now see here, this will become alpha and this is become alpha prime, and this will become beta, and this will become beta prime. So what should be the name of this particular compound? It is named as, it can be named as, that is alpha beta prime. What is this? Dichloro. What is this? Diethyl ketone, we call it as. This is how you have to name the common names of the ketones. Right? Now, even though there are common names, we use some historical common names. Okay, for ketones, there are some historical common names. For example, such as this CH3 C double bond O CH3. Generally we call it as, what we call, dimethyl ketone. This is also called as acetone. This is an historical common name of this simplest ketone. This is the simplest ketone. This acetone is actually, what did we call it as? This is the simplest ketone. What is meant by simplest ketone? It is the smallest member among the ketones. Simplest ketone we call it as. Alright. In the similar manner, and if you are talking about this aryl ketones, aryl alkyl ketones are commonly named by prefixing the acyl group and followed by phenone. For example, if you take an alkyl aryl ketone, what is mean by alkyl aryl ketone? Basically, ketones consist two alkyl groups. Among those two alkyl groups, if one is alkyl and other is aryl, aryl means, what is mean by aryl? If you remove an hydrogen from any aromatic compound, the resultant group will be called as aryl group. So these are the examples of aryl and alkyl ketones, or alkyl and aryl ketones. So these are basically called as, the name of this particular compound is called as acetophenone. Okay, these are some special common names. Acetophenone. Suppose if you are taking it as a CH3 CH2 C double bond OPH, this is called as propiophenone. Okay, propiophenone. Suppose if you are taking both as a phenyl group, this is called, okay, don't confuse with this phenyl group can also be represented in this way. See, benzene C double bond O. This is the representation, either of the representation of phenyl group. Okay, this particular compound is called as benzophenone. What it is called? Benzophenone we call it as. Right? These are some special or historical common names of ketones. Right? If you are talking about the IUPAC name, IUPAC nomenclature of ketones. According to the IUPAC nomenclature of ketones, the secondary suffix of ketones is -one. What is this? -one it is. What does it mean by -one? That is the E of either alkane or alkene or anything. Let us assume it as alkane, should be removed. The E of alkane should be replaced with what it is? Should be replaced with -one it is. That is the meaning of it. For example, okay, if you are talking about the simplest ketone, that is C double CH3 C double bond O CH3, right? Now you should consider as a derivative of alkane, okay, and how many carbons are there? You can number it of either way because it is a symmetrical one. In symmetrical ketones you can number it in either way, either from the left to right or right to left. It doesn't make any much difference, right? This is called, okay, how many carbons are there? 3 carbons are there. What is the root word for the 3 carbons? Prop. So what is the nature of bonding between carbon and carbon? Single bond. So what we should use? Propane it is. Propane. Actually what it will become? Propane it will become, the parent. But this E should be replaced by what is this? You should also indicate the position of the carbonyl group. Where is the position? This is the first carbon, second carbon, third. On second carbon there is a carbonyl group. So you need to indicate the position. Propane 2 on it is. What will be the name of this compound? Propane 2-on. Okay, basically the IUPAC names of ketones is derived from corresponding alkanes, okay, by indicating the location of carbonyl group with a particular number. And what is the suffix you have to use? On is the suffix. Okay, this E of the alkene should be replaced by on. We'll see some examples of this. Right, let us see. I will discuss some examples. Here compound, we'll see common name, and here we see IUPAC name, right, among the ketones, right? You just have seen this. What is this? It is commonly called acetone, right, or we can also say dimethyl ketone. According to the IUPAC, what we say, this is called propane 2-on base. Suppose if I take one more compound, CH3 CH2 C double bond O CH3. Commonly what we can call it as? We call it as, you have to write it as ethyl methyl ketone. Common name. Alphabetically 2 different alkyl groups are there. So what will be the numbering? The carbonyl group should get the lowest possible number. Because of that you need to go from right to left. You have to come. So total how many carbons are there? 4 carbons are there. So what will be the root word? Butane. So at what position the carbonyl group is there? Second carbon. So what you have to call it as? But 2-on it is, right? Suppose here if you have a compound like this, CH3 C double bond O CH3. See what is the common name of this particular compound? You need to see the nature of alkyl group, whether it is symmetrical or unsymmetrical. On both the sides same groups are there. It is a symmetrical alkane, symmetrical ketone. So what should be the nature of group here? This is isopropyl group. 3 carbons are there and isoposition is attached to the carbonyl carbon. So you have to call it as diisopropyl ketone. But as per the IUPAC system, what we have to call this as, right? So you have to, as it is a symmetrical one, you can number in either of the way. So if I number it as from this direction 1 2 3 4 5. So at what position the substitution is there? At second and fourth position is there. What is the substitution? It is 2, 4. What is this? Dimethyl. What is this? 2, 4 dimethyl pentane. Total 5 are there. Pentane 3-on it is. Pentane 3-on. Right? This is how you have to name the given compounds. Suppose if it is a cyclic compound. If it is a cyclic compound is there. Suppose you have given a compound like this. Okay, this is be called commonly as well as a IUPAC system, both will be same only. This is called cyclohexanone. We call it as what is this? Pentanone it is. Cyclopentanone we call it as cyclopentanone. So as there is no substitution, you need not to indicate the position. Okay, suppose if it is the compound like this, suppose you have a compound like this. Now see, what is this? What will be the common name? That this is alpha and this is beta. So what will become? Beta methyl cyclohexanone it is. But as per IUPAC, what it will become? 1, 2, 3 it is. What it will become? 3-methyl cyclohexanone it will become. Right? And one more important compound is given in the textbook, that is CH3 C double bond CH C double bond O CH. This particular compound is commonly called as mesityl oxide. What it is called? Mesityl oxide. Let us see what is IUPAC name of this particular compound. So numbering should be done in such a way that the carbonyl group gets lowest possible number. So this will be the second, third, fourth, fifth. So total 5 carbons are there. At second position carbonyl group is there. At third position there is a double bond is there. So what should be the name? At fourth position there is a methyl group, 4-methyl. What is this? Pent 3-ene and 2-one. Pent 3-ene, because at fourth position there is a methyl group. At third position there is a double bond. At second position there is a carbonyl group. Right? This is how you have to name the given compound. If you want to take one more example, you can take this particular compound. This is, what is this? Commonly this is called as propiophenone. What do you call it as? Propiophenone we call it as. This particular compound is named as, according to IUPAC, 1, 2, 3. This should be taken as parent chain. This is called as 1-phenyl propane 1-one it is. Propane 1-one. You need to take this as a parent chain. To this carbonyl carbon only phenyl group is attached. At the first position only the carbonyl group is there. These are some common names of, what are this? Ketones it is. Common names as well as IUPAC names. Right? You may also be given, in terms of board examination, you will get at least one more question from this nomenclature part. Either by giving a structure you will be asked to name, or by giving the name you may be asked to write the structure. Either of the way you may get a question for 1 mark. There is a possibility for getting question for 1 mark from the concept of nomenclature. Right? Suppose sometimes you will be given in this manner. Suppose if you have a compound like this, so somewhere here it is a group is there. Now how to name this as? According to IUPAC, right? Commonly you can also commonly name it as, right? This is called, if this is the first position, this is second. Okay, second bromo, or you may also call it as, this is meta position. Sorry, this is ortho position. Second bromo, 2-bromo acetophenone. These common names are also accepted by IUPAC. This particular compound, if there is no bromine, we generally call it as acetophenone. According to IUPAC, you can call it as acetophenone also, no problem. Okay, these are the some common as well as IUPAC names of ketones. And you may also get some compounds in which the compound contains both aldehyde group as well as ketone group. In such cases, what to do? Okay. Now let us see an example. For example, if you take a CH3, C double bond O, CH2 and CHO. This is the compound you have been given with. Right? Let me write the structure clearly. Right. Now if you look at this particular compound, it contains both aldehydic as well as ketonic group. This is the aldehydic group. Yeah, this particular part is aldehyde group and this particular part is ketonic group. In such conditions, how to name this particular compound? Okay, you have to name this compound. First of all, you have to number it. Numbering should be started from the aldehyde group, because aldehyde group is always terminal group. Okay, and whereas ketonic group is always non-terminal group. So since you have to start the numbering from aldehyde group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total there are 5 carbons are there. Okay, let me give the numbering clearly. Okay, in order to avoid the confusion. Alright, this is your first carbon, this is your second carbon, this is your third carbon, this is your fourth, and this is your fifth carbon. Why we are starting the numbering from aldehyde group? Because aldehyde group is always a terminal group, and you have to start the numbering from the aldehyde group, and you have to continue with the direction of ketonic group. Now total 5 carbons are there. Remember that if the compound contains both aldehydic as well as ketonic group, okay, the ketonic group should be considered as a substituent, and aldehyde group should be considered as a parent functional group or main functional group. These type of compounds are called multifunctional molecules. In case of multifunctional molecules, one function group should be selected as parent function group or main function group, and other function group should be considered as a substituent. Now what is the note you have to remember here? If compound contains both aldehydic and ketonic groups, then ketonic group is considered as substituent, and aldehydic group is considered functional group. What do you have to consider as functional group? I told you the reason. It is a terminal function group. It gets the seniority over the aldehyde group, and basically the secondary prefix of ketonic group is oxo. What is that? Oxo it is. So now let us name this compound. Total how many carbons are there? 5 carbons are there. Among this there are 2 function group, aldehyde as well as ketone. This ketone should be considered as a substituent. So while naming, first of all you have to represent the substituent. So let us represent the substituent. Where is the position of this ketonic group? 4th position. So it has to be considered as 4-oxo. Total how many carbons are there in the parent chain? 5 carbons are there. So it has to be named as pentanol. What is this? Pentanol you have to call it as. Okay, for example, if you take a cyclic compound, right? Cyclic compound in this way, right? Suppose if you have taken a compound in this manner, for this particular compound, how to name this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? It will be called as 2-oxo cyclohexane carbaldehyde. What it is called? Why we are calling it as carbaldehyde? Since the carbon of the aldehyde group is not considered in the parent chain. It is also called as with another name. The other name is that in another manner. Okay, this will be considered as parent and this will be called as substituent. It can also be called as 2-formyl. The formyl is in another way you can also name it as, from you start numbering from this particular position. Okay, what is this? This will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 2-formyl cyclohexanone. Okay, so basically for a board examination you may not go up to this much depth. I am just for your awareness I am telling. As per the main criteria UPSC, this particular name is considered as the actual UPSC name, and it can also be named in this manner. As per the UPSC you have to name it as 2-oxo cyclohexane carbaldehyde, you have to name it as. Okay, hope it is clear so far. This is about the nomenclature, and we will see some unsolved in-text questions. Some unsolved in-text questions are given in the textbook. We will try to see them. The first question is alpha methoxypropionaldehyde. Alpha methoxypropionaldehyde. Here they have given some common names as well as IUPAC names. They ask you to write the structure. The first compound is given alpha methoxypropionaldehyde, and the second name is given 3-hydroxybutanol. The second compound is given 3-hydroxybutanol. hydroxybutanol. And the third compound is given, that is 2-hydroxycyclopentane. 2-hydroxycyclopentane. And the fourth one is given 4-oxopentanol. 4-oxopentanol. And the fifth one is given di-secondary butyl ketone. Di-secondary butyl ketone. And the sixth one is given 4-fluoroacetophenone. 4-fluoroacetophenone. These are the names that are given and ask you to write the structure. Now let us see what are the structures for this particular compounds. What is the first compound given? Alpha methoxypropionaldehyde. The common name is given. Okay, first of all it is propionaldehyde. What is meant by propionaldehyde? 3 carbons should be there and a terminal carbon, right? What should be there? The aldehyde group is there. At what you have said, alpha methoxy. At alpha position what should be there? A methoxy group is there. This is aldehyde group and this is alpha position. Okay, this is the alpha methoxy propionaldehyde. Now what is the second compound is given? 3-hydroxybutanol. First of all you write the butanol. What is mean by but? 4 carbons. Okay, CH3 CH2, right? CH2 CH. This is butanol, but there is a substitution. At what position? Third position. So if this is the first carbon, second carbon, third carbon. At third carbon what is there? Hydroxy group is there. What is hydroxy group? OH group is called hydroxy group. Okay, this is called 3-hydroxybutanol, right? And what about the next one? 2-hydroxycyclopentane. First of all you have to write this cyclopentane. This is cyclopentane. 2-hydroxycyclopentanone it must be. 2-hydroxycyclopentanone it has to be. What is this? Pentanone, right? That means this will be the cyclopentanone. At what position the substitution is there? Second position. 1, 2. What substitution is there? Hydroxy group is there. This will become 2-hydroxycyclopentanone. And what about the next one? 4-oxopentanol. 4-oxopentanol. This is a compound which is having both aldehyde group as well as ketone group. Total 5 carbons are there. Okay. At fourth position you should have the, see this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth. At fourth position what we have? Ketone group, 4-oxopentanol. And what about the next one? Di-secondary butyl ketone. First of all you should know what is meant by secondary butyl. Okay, this particular group is called as secondary butyl. Okay, such two groups you have to take, CH3, CH2, CH3. This particular compound is called as di-secondary butyl ketone. And what about the last one? 4-fluoroacetophenone. What is acetophenone? This particular compound is called as acetophenone. What is meant by fourth position? This is first position, this is second position, this is third, this is fourth. What should be the group? Fluorine. This is called, okay, 4-fluoroacetophenone. Right? These are some in-text unsolved questions based on the nomenclature. Hope it is clear so far. Now we will see the structure of carbonyl group. Structure of carbonyl group we will discuss. Right? Basically, what is carbonyl group? This particular group is called as carbonyl group. If you look at this particular group, what is the hybridization of this carbon? Basically, how to determine the hybridization? In the first year itself we have learned how to determine the hybridization. Based on the nature of bonding you can identify the hybridization of carbon. If carbon is attached to all 4 single bonds, the hybridization of carbon will be sp3. If the carbon is forming 1 5 bond, okay, that will be sp2. If it is forming 2 5 bond, sp. So since this particular carbon is forming a 5 bond with oxygen, the hybridization of this carbon is sp2 it is. This is the first thing, okay, and oxygen will contain 2 lone pair of electrons. The first most important thing is that the hybridization of carbonyl carbon, this particular carbon we call it as carbonyl carbon, is sp2. What is this? sp2. What is mean by sp2? This particular carbon is forming 3 sigma bonds and 1 5 bond. Okay, suppose if this is 1 sigma bond sp2 and sp2, this is another sigma bond with oxygen, this is also sp2, and all these 3 sigma bonds will be in the same plane. All these 3 sigma bonds will be in the same plane because the geometry of the sp2 hybridized carbon is trigonal planar, and this particular carbon is having an pure p orbital which is perpendicular to the plane in which sigma bonds are present, and this particular oxygen is also having a p bond. Okay, all these 3 sigma bonds are in the same plane, and whereas these p orbitals are perpendicular to the plane. Suppose if you are considering the carbon is in this plane, here it will be 1 sigma bond, another sigma bond, another sigma bond, and this particular carbon is having a p orbital perpendicular to the plane in which the sigma bonds are present. Okay, and this particular p orbital contains 1 electron, and this particular p orbital will contain 1 orbital, so which in turn overlaps laterally. By overlapping laterally, what they will do? They will form a 5 bond. This is the electron cloud of 5 bond. Okay, this electron cloud of 5 bond will be just above and below the plane in which the sigma bonds are present. Okay, this is the, if you are assuming the plane of the board, if the sigma bonds are present in the board plane of board, and the p orbital will be just forward and backward of the board, right, which could be represented in this way, right? How we could represent? Right, this is also sp2 and this is also sp2. Hope you are getting this. Okay, suppose let me tell you this. If you are assuming this is a carbon, okay, at the carbon, right, let me write in this way. This is 1 sigma bond, this is another sigma bond, this is 1 sigma bond with oxygen. These are the 3 sigma bonds that are in the plane. This is a carbon, right? This carbon is having a 5 bond in this direction. Okay, this lobe of the p orbital will be just below and above. This is the meaning of planar sigma bonds. These 3 sigma bonds are in the plane, and the p orbital is just below and above the perpendicular plane, right? Okay, the plane in which sigma bonds are present, to that the perpendicularly what is there? P orbitals are there. Okay, now this will form a 5 bond. This carbonyl carbon is having a double bond with oxygen. Among this will be the sigma bond, this will be the 5 bond. Okay, you don't ask that why can't the upper one is sigma bond and the bottom one is 5 bond. It can be either of the, if there is a double bond, among the double bond, one has to be the 5 bond and other has to be the sigma bond. And if you are talking about the bond angle between these bonds, the bond angle between these 2 sigma bonds is 120, and these 2 will be also 120, and these 2 will be also 120. The bond angle between all the 3 bonds of carbonyl group is 120 and 120. Okay, and if you are talking about the geometry of carbonyl group is trigonal planar. What is this? Trigonal planar it is, right? Now if you look at the structure of this carbonyl group, in carbonyl group, carbon is bonded to oxygen with a double bond. We know that oxygen is more electronegative than carbon. So what happens? This bond pair of electrons are more towards oxygen and less towards carbon. Because of that reason, what happens? There is a slight displacement of electrons more toward the oxygen and less towards the carbon. So because of that reason, what happens? This oxygen of carbonyl group attains a slightly negative charge, and the carbon of the carbonyl group attains a slight positive charge. Okay, this is we call polarization. Okay, why the polarization takes place? Because of the electron negativity difference between oxygen and carbon, We know that oxygen is more electronegative than carbon. Because of that reason, what happens, the bonded electrons are more pulled towards oxygen and moves away from the carbon. Because of that reason, there is a generation of charges. This process is called polarization. The polarization takes place. So what we say, carbonyl group consists a permanent dipole moment due to electron negativity difference between carbon and oxygen. Due to the electron negativity difference between carbonyl carbon and oxygen, these carbonyl compounds are polar in nature. They are more polar than ethers and less polar than alcohols. They are more polar than ethers and less polar than alcohols. And due to this charge separation, how the charge separation is taking place here? The charge separation is taking place in this manner. It is slightly positive and this is slightly negative. Okay, this is slightly negative and this is slightly positive. We can also write in this manner. Okay, this is a negative charge and this is a positive charge. So here this carbonyl oxygen, the carbonyl oxygen behaves as nucleophilic center, that is electron rich center, which can also be called as Lewis base. How it acts as? It acts as a Lewis base because it is having extra, what is negative charge? Extra bond pair of electron. Because of this negative charge, it behaves as a nucleophilic center. What is mean by nucleophilic center? The center which is having excess of electrons will be called as nucleophilic center. Whereas carbonyl carbon behaves as electrophilic center. How it behaves? Electrophilic center, that is, it acts as Lewis acid. How it acts as? What is mean by Lewis acid? Anything which is electron deficient, which can accept the electrons, will be considered as Lewis acid. Since it is carrying a positive charge, it is electrophilic in nature. Electrophilic means the one which loves electrons. Which one will love the electrons? The one which is deficient of electron. Positive charge indicates deficiency of electrons. Because of the deficiency of electron, it readily tries to attract the electrons. Hence, the carbonyl carbon is electrophilic in nature. Hence, it acts as a Lewis acid. And the carbonyl oxygen is electron rich in nature. Because of that reason, it acts as a nucleophilic in nature. And because of the nucleophilic nature, it behaves as Lewis base. This is about the structure of carbonyl carbon. Among the structure of carbonyl carbon, the important thing to be noted on is that the hybridization of carbonyl carbon is sp2 because it is forming a 5 bond, and the hybridization of oxygen is also sp2 only, right? And this carbonyl carbon has 3 sigma bonds in the same plane and it has a 5 bond. Okay, this overlapping of p orbital, the p orbital are just perpendicular to the plane in which sigma bonds are present, and they overlap laterally to form a 5 bond. So there is a double bond between the carbon and oxygen. Among this double bond, one is sigma bond and one will be phi bond. Either of the bond can be sigma and either of the bond can be phi. The one which is laterally overlapped will be phi bond. The one which is overlapped along the axis will be called as sigma, right? This particular, the bond angle between all the bonds of carbonyl group is 120, and the geometry of this particular carbonyl carbon is trigonal planar, right? All the bonds in the same plane, and this particular carbonyl carbon is polar in nature due to the electronegativity difference between the oxygen and carbon. Since oxygen is more electronegative than the carbon, the bond pair of electrons are more towards the oxygen. Because of that reason, oxygen attains a partial negative charge and carbon attains a partial positive charge. This is we call permanent dipole moment. And carbonyl compounds are more polar than ethers and less polar than alcohols. The extent of polarity will be lower than the ethers, greater than the ethers and lower than the alcohols. And this carbonyl carbon, due to the positive charge, it acts as an electrophilic center and it will readily try to accept the electrons, hence it behaves as a Lewis acid. And the carbonyl oxygen, because of the electron rich nature, it acts as a nucleophilic center and it will behave as a Lewis base. This is about the structure of carbonyl group. Hope it is clear so far. That's all for the day. Thank you.